Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out something called Lemma. This is the alpha version of this upcoming parkour-oriented first-person platformer. It's a really interesting game. It's got a surreal approach to the whole concept, and it's one that I've actually been looking to cover for a very, very long time. Somebody asked me back, I don't know, it was like 5-6 months ago on my Ask FM if I would take a look at this game, and ever since I saw that I've wanted to, but for whatever reason I wasn't ever able to get it to launch on my old computer configuration. So since I built a new one, I figured it'd be worth giving it a shot to see if maybe there's been an update or it would just work or anything like that, and to my surprise it did. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of first-person parkour if you're cool with that. So let's jump into the options menu very briefly. And there are options, not a whole lot to see actually. Full screen resolution, gamma, motion blur amount, reflections, bloom, and dynamic shadow. So it actually tells you a little bit about the graphics engine here. And we're just going to start a new game and give it a shot. I have played about the first 2 minutes or so of this to get acclimated and do a sound check. So I know a little bit about what the controls are going to be like, and it's a bit of a difficult game to get your head around at the very first moment. Obviously, we're going to be having to make some comparisons to games like Mirror's Edge. Anyone who's stuck around the channel for a little while will know I have a thing about like parkour and first-person games. I think first-person platforming is actually pretty fun if it's done correctly. And I'm not sure where we stand on this, but we're going to be figuring that out throughout this episode. So first thing, I want to go through this door. Can't go through this door. This is not the right door. But we did wake up in our bed here with no pillows, unfortunately. So it's been a flat sleeping experience. But we're going to go out this door. And this is where we find the surreal world of Lemma. And we'll just take a moment here to take in the scenery. It looks like things have kind of exploded apart in a sort of pseudo-Minecraftian world. At least that's what it reminds me of at the first moment. And there's this very interesting, like, purple glow around all the objects. And now all of a sudden I'm, like, crashing into stuff, which I didn't mean to do. You'll notice, of course, if you look down, you can also see your body, which is a nice touch and a thing that I don't see nearly often enough. And then we've got our skybox all around. It looks like we're kind of suspended in the air. So I'm sure you guys want to see me start running, because that is kind of the whole point of this. I kind of skipped that middle platform there, which I didn't actually mean to do, but I actually landed on a checkpoint right there, so that actually got me past that. And that is a neat way to show us that we actually have checkpoints, and without even trying, we've already tutorialized for ourselves. So next, we want to try and start making some of these jumps. If we're particularly proficient at this control scheme, we can already start to make some advanced jumps, but since we're not, we're going to go the noob way downstairs, and it's going to teach us pressing left shift will climb over some objects, and then we want to press left mouse button to kick through certain materials. Helps to have momentum. Unfortunately, they don't really give you enough time to prepare and do this seamlessly, so you're going to be reading those boxes after you've already screwed up that situation, and then you'll get to go back and try it again. Jump and hold left shift to climb walls. Alright, let's try that out. We're going to have to back up and then get more momentum again. That is my my main criticism. Oh, there's a freaking light in the way. That's why that happened. My main criticism with this game, from what I can tell from the little bit I've played, is that the sense of momentum isn't quite 100% yet. I feel like we do have a little bit, but it's kind of like sluggish momentum. It doesn't feel like you're really moving very quickly. We actually just want to climb the wall. We don't want to try and wall jump. That was my problem there. But the one nice thing that I think this game really does well is that the levels are somewhat traversable in any way you choose. So provided you can see an out and you know what the abilities you have are, you can actually make your own way through things. And this is a long jump, so we've got to do a roll at the bottom of that to not die. So we want to do left shift to grab on the ledge and climb up, hold space to jump further, momentum helps. Okay. So again, this is our momentum. It's just kind of like running at not a snail's pace, but like not the best speed that you could imagine things would be moving at. And I think with a game like Mirror's Edge, a thing that really makes these sorts of traversal mechanics be successful is that you have a really good sense of mass and physics to your body. You've got a really good sense of velocity, and everything's very tangible and visceral in the way the character interacts with the environment. Here, things feel like they're getting started in that direction, but they're not necessarily 100% on to having the proper velocity. In this case, I was supposed to actually roll through that piece of wood, but you had to roll through the center here, because I don't think the left or the right actually lets you through, right? Let's try that again. I'll see if I can roll through the left or the right side of that wood wall, just in case. Oh, okay, you can actually break through wherever you want. There's just a few prescribed sections. Sort of like we're breaking through foam blocks or something. It's kind of strange, but it works. And then again, I can't be too critical because we are operating... Well, number one, we're in an alpha. Number two, we're in a dream world. And number 3, this is not exactly the most commonly made style of game. You know, first-person parkour games are not exactly, you know, breaking out anytime soon. There have been games like Overgrowth, which I'm totally cool with, and I think that it would be great if more people did make games like this. I think they're really good for immersion, and I think the fact that you can interact with the scenery the way that you can and find your own way through things is really fun. You know, it gives you a little bit of control over the situation, which is a thing that people don't always find themselves with. So this one, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to get up. I'm supposed to wall jump off a ledge, and then grab onto that edge somehow, but I don't think you can get enough momentum to just wall run and then just straight up jump. So I think maybe you have to do something like this, where we'll jump off this side of the wall, and we'll jump off this side, and then do one of those. Doesn't feel like the right way to do it necessarily, but it might be a way nonetheless. So even though this is, I guess, sort of a tutorial level, I think you can kind of take your own path through it if you want, because it seems like there's a lot of other areas that you should have access to, and I haven't run into any kind of invisible walls or anything just yet, which is kind of awesome, and I kind of really appreciate that. And this is another case where I think I've sort of made my own path. I don't know, maybe I was actually supposed to go this way, but it also looks like you can go down and across through here somehow. You see our character's shadow there. It's dynamic, but it's definitely a little bit pixelated around the edges. The other thing I have to say about this is the art style feels like it could still use a bit of development. I mean, granted, I kind of like where things are going, being very nebulous and dreamlike, like this, ethereal, if you will. But I think the biggest complaint I have is just the textures seem to repeat a whole bunch. There's a lot of hard edges, which aren't necessarily a bad thing, but in this case, I keep seeing, like, if you look carefully right here, you can see that same seam on each side, and there's that same little black mark where the marbling is occurring on that stone texture, and you'll see it across the same side 4 times here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That sort of thing, I don't know, catches my eye pretty much right away. And the same with the grass, the fact that there's seams around the edges. I mean, it's really honestly just texture work that needs to be cleaned up, and it's not the end of the world or anything, but it is a thing that definitely catches my eye. But then we have these little cinematic moments like this where I feel like we have a whole different level of production value. And again, please take all of this with a grain of salt. I am totally aware that we're criticizing an alpha here, and alpha does not mean that any of these things are going to be hard and fast and completely developed. So I'm just sort of saying what I would think would be cool to see going forward as a nice improvement, but don't feel like I'm condemning the developer for any of this. I think this is actually a really good start, and I think this has a lot of potential, actually. So we're going to go through this door and see what we discover in the next world here. I don't actually know where we're going with this. I haven't explored this world yet. I think there are a total of, I think I read 5 maps so far. So I am eager to see where we can end up with this, and maybe we can, like, climb up somewhere we're not supposed to go. Again, if you know me, you know I love to sequence break, and I love to do things out of order and break the design mechanics the way that things are supposed to be. Oh, okay, maybe I can't really get up there that easily. I'm sure if you give me 20 minutes, I can probably fudge my way through it, but oh well. So it looks like now I'm supposed to be collecting these little combo points, which I guess are going to keep me alive. They seem to be like your spirit or something. So we can combo wall running and jumping on the different walls to build momentum. I think I want to, like, slide through this with left click. There's a number of different running mechanics we have to get our heads around, one of them being, you know, sliding, one of them being rolling, using left shift to climb up surfaces and grapple onto edges. And it's probably necessary that we have all of these buttons, but at the same time I wonder if maybe it wouldn't be a little bit better for the player and for usability to just try and stick with, like, one context-sensitive button. I don't actually know if that's 100% the answer, but that's just sort of what my mind makes me think might, you know, be something that I would gravitate toward, especially since I've seen it done in Assassin's Creed. And it feels like, for the most part, the free running in Assassin's Creed works pretty well. Sometimes it actually works a little too well, to be perfectly honest. I've played enough of the game to know that by this point in the series, there are actually times when the character feels like they're sort of taking over for you, which is a little bit frustrating. I want to have enough granular control that I can decide where I really am going without the game just automating the process. But I do also understand why it happens at the same time. There's a lot of versatility in surfaces and things that don't necessarily make a lot of sense for the player to have control over. So in this case, I appreciate the granularity, but I wonder if there might also be another solution as well in putting a context-sensitive button depending on what's going on around you. I mean, hence the word context. But anyway, let's keep climbing here. It seems like we've found a little bit of a way around, but we're certainly not building up the kind of speed and momentum that I really loved about a game like Mirror's Edge, which I don't know if is necessarily a level design problem or is... Oh, nasty fall there, or is more to do with the fact that I'm just not facile yet with the controls. Could be a combination of both. The inherent readability of a game like this in the level design, it's definitely difficult, and that's why Mirror's Edge, I mean, not only for aesthetic reasons, but also because it was necessary to keep the game moving at the pace that it was. They adapted the concept of having red objects all over the place to lead the player around. In this case, I honestly have no idea where I'm supposed to go. I mean, I see a lot of potential surfaces I could try to grapple onto, but I'm not sure where is progression and where is just, you know, floundering. And in this case, I may actually end up doing a bit of floundering out of necessity, and then when we hit the floor, it looks like there's actually like a lightning strike. I guess you could say these little light balls are sort of to lead us in that direction, but we're definitely not building up the kind of speed that I was enjoying in a games like Mirror's Edge, because I think that was part of the real fun, was not only parsing the environment, but keeping up that sense of speed to have the velocity necessary to keep making the jumps you're trying to make. Because a lot of times, the faster you're going, the easier things are going to be for you to traverse the environment. In this case, it feels like we're just sort of walking around at the speed that we can see things at. I mean, I'm sure if we start to try to speed run this level, maybe things would be a bit different. But I don't see that happening for me anytime soon anyway. We want to jump and left mouse button to kick through breakable walls. Okay, I'm guessing that sandstone-looking material is supposed to be a breakable wall. I honestly have no idea how I was supposed to know that, though, unless I knew that already. That doesn't look more breakable than anything else, but yeah, it was indeed. Oh, we've actually got water, and we plunked right into there. The water texture is, I don't know, looks a little bit like an old-school Unreal Engine 2003 style water texture. Not too terrible or anything. You can see under it. Or, I guess that's actually a reflection, isn't it? I thought we could see under it, but nope. Just a reflection. Let's keep walking or swimming through. We seem to be... Oh, there's a surface here below the water. Okay, that's definitely a thing that might need to be addressed. It's a little bit confusing. And we found our glowing door that seems to take us through to the next map. And now it looks like we found a bit more of a futuristic bit of architecture. Although, architecture. This is possibly more to do with the theme of the first level. And I'm wondering what's tying the graphical aesthetic together from one to the next. Or also I'm wondering why I just died there, because I don't think I did anything necessarily that wrong. Am I kicking the wall? I'm trying not to, but I think I might have just kicked the wall, and that might have killed me. Okay, it's left shift to jump up. And then, how am I going to reach this? Can I get... Oh, I can actually. And we've got tiles here, which I think I remember those were breakable, so let's see if we could maybe roll through that. We can. They turn into little cubes, which bounce all around. Oh, that's a nice lighting effect right there. The fact that actually, the mesh, you'll see, actually casts a reflection, or a shadow, rather, on that wall there. Kind of a nice thing. So I guess we're supposed to hop around this wall. That was certainly a bit awkward the way I approached that was not pleasant. And I'm sorry if any of you out there are going, oh, this is so hard to watch. It's like, it's cringeworthy that I'm not able to make these jumps accurately and quickly and all that. I hear you. I definitely would recommend, though, if you feel that way, go grab this game yourself and try it out. See how you feel about it, having actually spent some time playing it, you know, in your actual own body and skin to know if it's necessarily as easy as it might look or not look, depending on your perspective. This is one of those games where I think a lot of it comes down to the tactile feel, and I don't know that necessarily all of that has been worked out just yet. So, not, again, that I'm criticizing it too harshly. There's still plenty of time and plenty of, you know, latitude for adjustments and such. I wonder if maybe that is one of the bigger things that needs to be worked on. The sense of momentum and also the level design to keep you moving efficiently through the space. See right there, I keep botching that jump around those edges, but I did actually rescue myself there, so that was nice. Oh, no, didn't quite make that one. So we're going to have to go wall, wall, up, and then we can get back up here. Then we're going to go back around again. We're going to go straight, and then, whoa, wall, 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 oh, another wall, down. Alright, I guess we need to get a little bit more speed before we can try and get up that high. We want to be at the very peak of each jump, but even when we are at the peak of each jump, it doesn't seem like we have the ability to necessarily make it up to that edge. You know, things seem like they're pretty finely tuned for perfection already, which I feel like maybe, I don't know if I want that. The other thing that I wanted to mention is one of the really cool things about Mirror's Edge, again, and I know I've harped on this point a million times, but bear with me, was the surreal nature of the time trial maps, which were actually DLC maps and weren't necessarily available to everyone, and I really like that this game is sort of channeling that same vibe in a way. Oh, come on. I thought I had it there. Maybe I'm just supposed to bounce around in a circle and go back through the wall on the other side. I died from lack of stamina. Don't let your stamina meter drop too low. Okay, that's fair. I am certainly doing a lot to task myself here as a character, so I understand that we can't all have infinite energy. Oh yeah, there's actually a bit of a mesh on the other side there, so maybe we can keep things going in that way. Oh, see, but then when you jump off that wall, you end up falling off the bottom of the map again. Maybe I just need to wall run through that whole thing and call it a day and stop trying to overanalyze everything. There's probably even a better way to do this that doesn't involve bothering with it. I could just do this, right? So there's just, like, multiple ways to traverse that same problem. However, it seems like whatever I do, I end up in the same spot, which is falling off the bottom of the map. I wonder, though, like, is the solution to these issues, like when you keep falling, is this the best solution to punish the player by making them start back at a checkpoint, or is the better solution to simply not have that be a factor and slow you down, right? Because either way, you're doomed for failure if you screw up too much. You know, if you take too much time, if your jumps are inaccurate for too long, you will run out of stamina one way or the other. So what's the advantage to making the player play the same place over again multiple times? I guess the advantage is to keep them learning and getting better at trying to traverse and learn traversal mechanics. I don't know. There's a lot of open-endedness to this, and it's a bit of a formula that I haven't really got the answers for. But it's one that I'm very curious about, and one that I'd love to have a bit of a dialogue about. So if you guys want to weigh in, I think this might be getting up to pretty close to the point where I'd like to ask and solicit that feedback. Let me know, and let the developer know if they happen to find this video, and I will probably do my best to make sure the developer does find this video. Feel free to chime in and say what you think about this. You know, feedback is very important. I'd love to hear it. I just love to talk about game design in general, but where it's actually practical is when a developer's still working on a game just like this, especially when they're in alpha, where things are still pretty much very malleable. And let me know what you'd think would make this a better experience all around. Or if you just think it's a great experience as is, there's nothing wrong with that. I could even, I could definitely make some arguments to say that a lot of my issues or criticisms are more to do with my own issues. I might just need to work at this and get a bit better. And I should say that that is sort of a prevailing theme that I feel like I don't say it nearly enough. I am aware that I am not an expert at any of these games when I'm playing them for the first time, especially in an impressions video. I 100% agree. This is literally the first time I've played this. There is not a single reason in the world why I should feel like I have any claim to say that I'm the best at it, and I should, you know, have a right to necessarily say that because I couldn't do a certain thing that the developer should go ahead and change the whole thing. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just basically citing my own subjective opinions about what might make me enjoy this more as it's my first time, and might make me kind of more hooked into it to keep playing it for longer, if that makes sense. But what we're doing right now, this very moment, this moment that I'm seeing everything in front of me, this is exciting stuff. Oh, that wasn't so good, though. But seeing all of that landscape ahead of me, and knowing that it was all sort of malleable and changeable and traversable in whatever way I see fit, that's a thing that I get really excited about. Knowing that there's not really any linear progression at all, we can find our own way through this obstacle course of sorts, and when it's all essentially about seeing it in front of you and just how you're going to approach it, where you, like, if you can imagine when you first make a map in Minecraft, for example, and you see all the hills in front of you, and you go, wow, the possibilities here are endless. I could go any way that I want to find my way through this landscape. That's exactly what I was feeling when I was looking at all that stuff in front of me. And I'm not actually sure I was even supposed to be standing up there, to be honest with you. There weren't really lights, and then I fell through the environment. But what I will say is that that is an exciting feeling sometimes, and if you could channel that sort of a feeling in having this sort of an organic experience, I think that's usually a positive thing. May have nothing to do with the developer's actual intent or what the layouts are supposed to be for level design, but it does grab my attention regardless. So I just wanted to sort of weigh in with those 2 cents anyway. But that's going to be it for today's episode. That was Lemma, guys. Go check it out. It is free to download right now. The alpha that I'm playing in this video is going to be available in the description. So do play it. Let me know what you think. See if you can get through it all. If you have any criticisms, please leave them here. I'd love to hear from you. And what do you think about this style of like a first-person parkour game in general? Is this a thing that you generally look for? Is this a thing that you've had experience with in the past? Maybe you get frustrated with it. I know plenty of people say they get motion sickness from these sorts of games, and I kind of understand and hear that. I don't particularly, I'm not one of those people that's affected by that problem, so luckily I'm able to enjoy them to their fullest, but, you know, I do appreciate that that's always a thing for people. So let me know if that's a factor as well. And I guess that will wrap us up for another episode. So again, links are going to be in the description. Feel free to check out my other stuff if you want to see my social media links, my Twitter, my Facebook, my Twitch page where I stream live stream stuff, and of course, indie-impressions.com, my website where I post every day's new Indie Impressions video. They are all aggregated over there and all categorized and sorted. So if you're looking for a particular game, a particular style of game, a particular platform like Steam games, Greenlight games, or even a payment style, that stuff's all sortable over there for you. So if you want to find my opinion on any of that stuff, that's where to go. But that is going to be it for another day, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the game. Again, feedback is always welcome. If you're still enjoying the series, let me know that as well. And I will be back again tomorrow. New episodes are every single day, so I hope to see you back. And if you'll pardon my flailing here, oh my goodness, I'm just stuck with this wall. Alright, I guess I'll just be trapped in this pit and call it a day. So thanks everybody for watching. I will see you all tomorrow. Talk to you later.